Hi, I'm Terrell Turner, the host of the Business Talk Library, and today we have a bit of a different interview because what you're used to seeing is me talking to one person. But today is also awesome because I get to talk to the team behind a awesome business called Habitual Root, and we're going to jump into what Habitual Root is all about. But I really like, this business because I had a couple of conversations with members of the team there. And what they're doing is something that is very, very essential, especially for entrepreneurs and for business owners, with being able to really master some of the things that they talk about and with their business and the resource and the problem that they are solving with their business. So I do want to welcome to the show the entire team. I want to welcome Kevin, Justin, and Megan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Terrell.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I guess, to start it off, let's go do this. Let's start with Kevin and just, what was your background before, coming in, starting Habitual Root?
Yeah, to give you a little bit of background, it might be similar to all the ones here and as well as unique in my own way. But a lot of my journey was, of course, in the States, me being the first generation here. A lot of my learning and upbringing was rooted from following the society, social conditions, and listening to what the world wanted us to be, going through education, going through schooling, getting a job, living this lifestyle. And I followed suit with that. So a lot of my past and my upbringing towards what we've built today is rooted in me following the path of becoming an engineer because of my family and because of the social society wanting me to take that path, right? And master myself through understanding what actually gives me joy and happiness. And a lot of times it was rooted in looking externally. So when I reconnected back to the truth, of what really is important to our society and the importance of our own understanding of the self and the emotions, I changed that path, living the corporate life and following suit and working gratefully in, an office space and connecting with beautiful people and amazing people. It also learned to break me, recognizing that wasn't the form or the path that I wanted to live, because I found so much more truth in connecting back to things that we were never actually taught or reminded of, which is learning how to breathe or learning how to be in the heart or learning back into being in the present of the moment, which is the actual gift, hence why it's called the present, right? So these little things and little moments of joy brought me back to that truth. So that's kind of my path to what has led us to connect today.
Awesome, awesome. I really like that because it's something that reminds me of something someone told me, a long time ago. It's like you got to figure out how to maximize you. And I never really understood what that meant until later on they realized, like, you got to figure out what is it, who you really are and what is it that you do and what is it that's special about you and maximize that. And it was something that, like I said, when I connected with Justin and he was telling me about Habitual Root, I'm like, man, that's so cool what you guys are doing. So Justin, tell a little bit about kind of how you came into the picture of Habitual Root.
Yeah, so let's see. I came from a small town and ended up coming to Charlotte for school and never left. I studied engineering actually with Kevin. That's where I met him, was in school. And yeah, just getting into similar to him, getting into the corporate space after graduating and starting to identify some of the gaps that were found in the corporate space of just communication with teammates, individuals not knowing how to handle themselves emotionally, not understanding the big picture of their job. I remember having a meeting one day after being in my role for 7 months with a VP, and he explained something, and then it finally clicked of, hey, this is the purpose of my job. I'm not here just to hit this button every day, like the overall picture. And so, that with many other aha moments is kind of what steered me into this pathway of just understanding, wanting to dig more into myself, how I work, where, to the granular things of where thoughts come from and what triggers those things and how that affects us, emotionally, and, how habits form, and just a lot of the anatomy of the brain and just how that correlates to our everyday decisions, and how we can start to just tweak a little things here and there to be more intentional with the way we're living our lives. And, with that understanding, just kind of pushed me and Kevin and Megan too into this space of wanting to continue to master that.
Awesome. Now, Megan, how did these two guys have the privilege of meeting you?
Oh, it's actually a pretty cool story. So last year, last summer of 2019, I had graduated from my yoga teacher training, and I was looking for an organization where I could do something called karma yoga, which is donation based. The teacher doesn't get paid typically. And then all of the funds go back to a nonprofit. And it was something that I really wanted to do because I have a full-time job and I don't need to be paid to teach yoga. I just wanted to do it for the community. So I actually found Nikki first, and Nikki is our wellness coordinator, and has, really just kind of, she brought me into Habitual Roots. I had a meeting with her and started talking about marketing, which is what my background is. And she said, "Oh my gosh, you have to meet Justin and Kevin because we're looking for somebody to help us with marketing." And it really was kind of a whirlwind. Everything happened so quickly, but it just felt right from the very beginning. And I knew that I had always wanted to use my marketing skills for a company that really had a higher purpose. And that's what I found with Habitual Roots. So it's definitely
Awesome.
it's been awesome.
Awesome. And what I think is very interesting is that there are a lot of people who want to have a business that has a impact that you guys are having. It's like they have the idea about it. So can you guys tell me, what was that journey like of actually starting to build a business around this idea, going from just having an idea to actually executing on it to make it a resource that's available to others?
Yeah, it's been a journey. Just to keep it high level. So we started as an LLC, and we were going down the route of, offering retreats and whatnot. And then we found, as we were getting more and more into this work, that we were operating as a nonprofit, and we're wanting to serve more. And we were attracting people like Megan and Nikki, who were interested in, owning a yoga program, which I don't think is something Kevin and I originally intended to have part of Habitual Roots, and now it's one of the key components. And so it's been collaboration, I think, has been the biggest thing, and not getting stuck on our original idea and allowing it to evolve and expand as we've continued to do that ourselves as young entrepreneurs. And so just letting it take shape as things keep coming and going, and being able to also just get back to the drawing board when needed, and hit on our values and stick to the plan.
Mhm. Gotcha. And I guess, Kevin, from your experience, I mean, when you start introducing, I guess, people to that, because there's a lot of people who are very much stuck into what they were trained to do, or trained to how to look at even their life or how their life fits into the bigger world. Like, what is that journey like for people as you start to kind of, tell them your story and then help them kind of, for lack of a better word, rediscover the real them?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the real them, and, is a never ending story, and a question that can only be answered by them, right? And a lot of the conditioning behind it is the stigma that has been placed on, a lot of things that have happened in our society, not only in the industry that we kind of interact in, or even that we've built our organization in, but there's stigmas behind a lot of things. So then the question is, where can we uproot that, and detach from the norms of what our parents have told us, our friends have told us, and our relationships or our experiences in history have told us. But more so, how do we really embrace more of the freedom behind what it means to be a human being, right? How much we are connected to each other, how much we are connected to nature. And when we begin to share more of our stories, it starts to ignite that passion within them, and it reminds them of, whoa, like I felt that same feeling when I was this at this moment in my life, right? And how do you bring that back to light for them, because I can share my story all day, but how do we create a space where people feel comfortable and vulnerable to share their story and to connect deeper with me and deeper with themselves through just being seen or heard or loved in a way that maybe a relationship or a past trauma or experience didn't allow them to be, and recognize how worthy we all are for the greater experiences that we've limited ourselves from, and removing those beliefs by stepping into our truth, which is the maximum version of us and the highest version of us, or like we like to say, the most sustainable version of you is the most authentic version of you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So how are you guys creating those opportunities in those spaces for, like I said, for people to work through those conditionings to really get back to, like I said, the real them, the authentic them?
Just once again, a high level, and I think Kevin hit on it here, is just creating that space, amongst whatever program we're implementing or hosting. It's about creating that harmonious environment to where others feel understood, felt heard, and, able to be vulnerable and share. And so, for example, something that's different within our yoga program is the fact that after every class, we hold an integration conversation, integration period, whatever you want to call it. And essentially, we discuss with everyone how to take the practices that you're doing on the mat, off the mat, going and applying it into your everyday life. And so taking that initiative, that intention is how we're doing that, how we're creating that with every program, within our individual coaching, with our methodology that we've created, within the other like programs like Project Mom, for example. There are multiple ways that we're able to get out into the community. And, once again, it's all about that space that we're creating.
Gotcha. And Megan, I mean, when you talk about, the Habitual Root getting out in the community and the different programs, can you tell us a little bit about, some of the other programs other than the yoga and the Project Mom?
Yeah. So, well, as we know, this year has been crazy with COVID. And at the beginning of the year, we had so many great plans about all of these, really exciting opportunities. We were going to participate in a music festival and a yoga festival down in South Carolina. And then, of course, everything just kind of halted. And one of the most magical things that I experienced was our ability to just quickly pivot online. And we did a whole series of online events earlier this year. A lot of them were just kind of talks between people on our team, but we had such great participation. We did online yoga in the mornings, and then we talked through what we call our roots methodology, which is really just a lot of like a way for you to, like Kevin has said, reconnect back to who you are and learn more about yourself. And I can tell you, I led one of those talks, and it was one of the most powerful experiences that I have ever had, because I was speaking with someone who's become such a dear friend of mine and interacting with people from all across the country. And who would have known, at the beginning of this year that we would have been able to do something like that. So I really just look forward to seeing how we continue to grow and pivot as we discover what people really are looking for.
Gotcha. And from the marketing aspect, if people are looking for you guys online or on social media, or in app stores, where can they find you guys?
Good question. So, of course, you can find us online on our website, habitualroots.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Habitual Roots. You can find us on Facebook. If you just, search Habitual Roots. We're also on LinkedIn. We also connect with a lot of people through Meetup, which is, of course, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like an app where you can meet people and do different events. And that has actually been a really great source of community building for us, where we host a lot of events and where a lot of people find us.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to go through getting, everyone's perspective. I mean, when you guys are thinking about, this business, what you are working on, the solution, and, this amazing asset and resource that you guys are providing that, seems to be a huge gap in our world as a whole. what has been, something that you guys have said, an experience that you've had in your journey with Habitual Root that you're like, what, that was like a very memorable experience that we've had so far?
That's a hard question. So I actually will go back to the beginning of this year. We were having a yoga class at one of the local breweries here in Charlotte. I think it was Lower Left. And it was the first time that I had come to an event and was ready to take pictures for marketing and kind of, get the ball rolling. And I remember laying on my mat during practice and looking up at the ceiling and thinking to myself, wow, this is my job. I get to do this. And I had never had that feeling before. I mean, I'm 34 years old, and to think that in 34 years, I've never really thought something like that, or really in all my adult life, I've never thought something like that. It just makes it so special when you can have those opportunities and those moments to really enjoy the people that you're working with and the mission that you're working for.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Kevin and Justin?
Take it away, Kev.
Yeah, a unique time this year. I mean, I think this entire year we can agree has been pretty unique, especially as an entrepreneur. Developing a business in this sense is require a lot of patience, and presence, and also just adaptability. Which is things that we've kind of brought up. But something that was the most unique experience that I recognized actually happened recently for us out here in Denver and as well as in Charlotte. We've been growing our community, and it's been growing quicker and quicker. And something that's been really fascinating is that, our society, we are social creatures, and we as social creatures really want to connect and find a common truth and a higher purpose to support. And of course, we as an organization try to provide resources and practices that are not a one size fits all solution, but really find the path that helps people reconnect to themselves. Because again, what we were reminding is that you are the solution. Everything that you always needed is within yourself, but learning how to reconnect with that is the path. And something that's been really beautiful in the community is that we've been able to establish that environment and space for people to really find that truth and understand how when we walk down the sidewalk and we see another person at our events, they start yelling and screaming and saying, "Hey, oh my God, you were at this event too." And like it's almost like this experience of a community that they may not have had before, that they almost have a sense of belonging to a common cause that isn't just their job, or just to a happy hour, or just to an athletic event, or to the weather, or to something that we can bring a conversation, but actually connect deeper to ourselves. That, hey, did you dive into your breath today? Or did you play or dance or experience a sense of joy today? And in a way that we can really see the truth behind what our experience is as a human being. And that was something magical and really unique that we experienced this year, was the development of our community and how they actually are supporting each other outside of just our events, and actually finding a deeper truth amongst the connections they've built at just the events and the programs that we've created.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Justin?
Well, one that always stands out, I think every year it gets more and more fun, is our team retreat. It's something that we do at the beginning of each year. Last year was in Boone. The year before was in Nederland, Colorado. Each one just brings such a connection amongst all of us, and just the way that we're able to open up and share and just be genuine and also practice together is a huge one. But another one in particular is just, recently is, last night even, is we connected with the team, and we create spaces with our actual instructors and the people leading these groups to hold space for them too, and allow them to also incorporate their practice of self-care and to share and help each other build. And so each team meeting brings that connection and allows us to always keep enhancing each other's experience, whether it's sharing books to quotes to all of that. So I mean, it's really just pick a day, and I'm sure we've had some kind of experience that has enhanced someone's connection on our team, and it's really cool to be in the seat that I'm in, to see it all and to be connected with everyone within all the groups and everything.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, before we wrap up, one question I like to ask every guest that comes on. I mean, so when you think about, your journey so far, and you think about where you guys are today, and, the trajectory of where you guys are going tomorrow, what's one lesson that you have learned or that you've experienced that you think other entrepreneurs should hear as well? And I know Justin has to drop right at the hour. So, Kevin has to drop right at the hour. So let's start with Kevin, and then we'll go around.
Wow, that's a really big question, and I love it too. Thank you for asking that, Terrell. For me, from where I'm at, to share to other people who are building their business, it's really about how you perceive this life, and how you perceive yourself, and how you perceive the experiences that come into your world. So a simple way to say it is that the way you perceive life is how you will receive life. And so through your perception and through your experience drives the opportunities that you see or that you may not see. But it's learning to create compassion and love for everything that you do experience, and staying unattached from those things that you desire, and more so open, because the moment you stay attached or expect something is the moment you miss the gift of what is presently right in front of you.
Wow. We'll go with Megan next.
So the biggest thing that I have learned is just to start. I think a lot of times people are so afraid of what will happen that they never start something that they're so passionate about. And I think too that we get so caught up in the big picture of having to feel like everything is perfect before you begin a project, or you have everything in place and all your ducks in a row before you start a business. And if you operate from that mindset, you're never going to get anything done. So you have to kind of sit in the discomfort and the unknown and the messiness of it, especially as a business owner, and understand that things will come to you if you just put one foot in front of the other and just take that first step.
Awesome. Awesome. And then Justin.
Yeah, I love both those answers, y'all. I think those are great. And yeah, just to kind of, it's almost piggybacking off of both of those, but in its own way, just trusting in yourself that you can figure it out. That, anyone who has built whatever it is you're looking at, or you're kind of idolizing as that business, that's, the competitor who's figured it all out. That's just a person too, who just happened to, tap into certain resources, or was able to build a certain skill set. And we have, a unanimous amount of resources. So I guess that would be the biggest takeaway, is to tap into your network, reach out to, programs like SCORE mentoring to help you build your business, to, YouTube, which I think has helped all of us, especially, those of us who are making, home repairs and those types of things that you got to figure out on the fly, whatever it is, it's out there, and you just have to sit still for a moment and, not get attached, as Kevin was saying, and understanding, as Megan's saying, to take one step at a time. It's like, hey, I just need to understand what this is and how this can work, and, just understanding the grand plan, and using what's available to all of us, our friends, families, those other entrepreneurs that are out there too. There's Facebook groups out there. It's literally just digging in and putting a little bit more effort in, and seeing where that can take you, and getting that insight that you need.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Kevin, Megan, and Justin, thank you guys so much for coming on the show, for, walking us down, the habitual root journey, as well as telling us about the awesome things that you guys have going on, and sharing your wisdom and insight. Really appreciate having you all on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Carol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business Talk Library. If you like our content, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to see more of our exclusive content, you can subscribe and become a member on patreon.com/Business Talk Library. Hey, the Business Talk Library is the place where business makes sense.